on the agenda today is Senate Bill 3056. Senator Suber, you're recognized to explain the local and private.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill will add a $25 assessment on top of each conviction in Justice Court and Circuit Court in Calhoun County. And then it will assess a $50 assessment to all convictions of DUI or anything under the applied consent law. The money to be used for pretrial detention facilities and the courthouse in Calhoun. And that's the extent of the bill.
All right, heard the explanation of the bill. Any questions or motion? Motion is all sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Next, Senate Bill 3061. Senator Barrett, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the exact same bill that Senator Suber just described, but for this covers Lincoln County as opposed to Calhoun County. I would add that like Senator Suber said, there's a $25 and a $50 fee, and this would go towards the jail and or justice center for that area. And I'd like to note that obviously the persons that are charged or convicted through justice court and or circuit court, they have used the facilities at the jail, which this would go to improve, as opposed to every year I have to ask for an appropriation for improvement. So I think it's a good bill, and that's a description.
All right, heard the description of the bill. Are there any questions on the bill? Seeing none for a motion. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Senator, next is Senate Bill 3265. Senator Suber, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is requested from the city of Water Valley. They want to be able to have an election to add a 1% tax on the restaurants in town to be used to promote tourism in parks and recreation. And it's a 1% tax. That would have to be voted on by the people of Water Valley.
All right. You heard a description of the bill. Any questions? Seeing none for a motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next is Senate Bill 3269. Senator Suber, you're recognized again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the exact same bill as we had for Calhoun a few minutes ago in Lincoln County, but this is for Chickasaw County. And it has the $25 assessment to convictions obtained in justice court and circuit court, and a $50 assessment for convictions of violations of the applied consent law. And the money's be used for pretrial detention centers and the courthouse.
All right. You heard a description of the bill. Any questions? Seeing none for a motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Senator Suber, you put in overtime for your folks. Good job. Next is Senate Bill 3275. Senator Michelle, you're recognized to explain.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This legislation is for the Madison County Economic Development Authority and to increase their bonding capacity. That entity is the group that had the foresight many years ago to acquire the land up off of Interstate 55 and Highway 22, where we located a very large project, the Amazon Web Services project. Many people have forgotten before that. They located an Amazon packaging plant as well that created over 1,200 jobs. And Clark Beverage Group, the Coca-Cola bottler, has moved to that site, and it's created several hundred jobs as well. The bonding authority currently is $12 million, and that goes back to the early 90s, and you can't buy what you could for $12 million these days. So we're requesting to increase that bonding authority for the county and for Makita to $25 million.
Okay. You heard a description of the bill. Senator Bryan for a question.
I believe there was a recent luncheon held in Madison County. Was that, and I get the names of the organizations confused, was that luncheon held by the Madison County Economic Development Authority itself?
The one yesterday?
Yes.
That was the Madison County Business League.
Okay.
All right.
It was good too.
It's good, Mr. Chairman, if you only want one viewpoint expressed. There is a name for a situation in which only one viewpoint is expressed. There are a number of organizations who seem to think they're going to have meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting about a public issue and only have one viewpoint expressed. They're doing a disservice to their members because their members are uninformed. But I would simply say, Mr. Chairman, there's a name for a society in which it's not permitted to express dissenting viewpoints. That name is not democracy. That name is not free.
Thank you, Senator Bryan. Any other questions on the bill? For a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Next, Senator Michelle, House Bill 1777.
This is a request by the city of Ridgeland to authorize a levy on restaurants and hotels, a local option tax. They wish to add 1% tax to the restaurants and a 2% tax on the gross proceeds of the hotels. This is for improvements to the Freedom Ridge Park Phase 2. It has the front-end referendum. It must pass by 60%. And the good news, this legislation in Section 5 is that upon the completion of these improvements to Freedom Ridge Park, the tax is repealed.
All right, you heard a description of the bill. Are there any questions on the bill? Seeing none for a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. That bill will be reported out. Next is House Bill 1953, Union County. Senator Whaley, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill very much like the several that have been in before us this afternoon, excuse me. $50 assessment to a conviction or a non-adjudication under the complied scent law, or a $25 to a misdemeanor conviction or a non-adjudication. And it would be going to the Union County Capital Improvements Fund for the detention center, as I understand it.
For our explanation of the bill, are there any questions on the bill? Seeing none for a motion? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Motion to rise and report. All in favor say aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Sorry.